I found them huddled in the corner of my yard, an injured kitten and a wild falcon, an odd and unexpected pair. The kitten's tiny body was trembling, yet it clung to the falcon's side, refusing to move. As I approached, my first instinct was to help, but something about the falcon's posture stopped me in my tracks. It wasn't scared or threatened, it was protective. Then, just as I got within arm's reach, the falcon spread its wings wide, staring me down. I froze, unsure if I was about to be attacked or witness something far more surprising. It was as if the bird was issuing a clear warning, not just to protect itself, but the vulnerable creature at its side. I took a deep breath, keeping my movements minimal. Was it preparing to attack, or just ensuring my retreat? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't. And hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. It let out a soft, pitiful meow, eyes half closed and body visibly shaking. Seeing the kitten's feeble state intensified my urge to step in and help. Still, the falcon's unwavering stance kept me at bay. The scene was too strange to make sense of. Why would a wild falcon be protecting a tiny, injured kitten? Was there more to their relationship than met the eye? Could this be some anomaly of nature, or was something else at play? And how had they come to be here together in my backyard? The falcon watched as I slowly retreated, its wings still raised in a protective stance. The bird's gaze remained fixed on me, unyielding and keen. Each attempt to inch forward met with the same rigid resistance from the bird. I retreated indoors to get some supplies. Grabbing food and water, I hoped to lure them out of the corner safely. Returning to the yard, I placed the bowls carefully a few feet away, then stepped back to give them space. The falcon hesitated, but lowered its wings slightly. It watched me intently, but neither it nor the kitten moved toward the offering. The protagonist continues watching from a distance, his curiosity and uneasiness growing with each passing moment. Minutes pass, and the kitten makes a small movement, inching ever closer to the falcon while still ignoring the food. Its tiny body quivers with each step, yet it never strays far from the bird's side. The falcon watches intently, never letting its guard down. As the sun begins to set, casting long shadows across the yard, the protagonist decides to leave the pair undisturbed for the night. He hopes that in the morning, the situation might become clearer, or that the animals will have moved to a safer place. The next morning, the protagonist steps into the yard with a mix of relief and curiosity. Both the falcon and the kitten are still in the same spot, though neither has touched the food. They appear unchanged, the falcon's wings still guarding its small companion. He takes a deep breath, thankful they've survived the night. Now, more than ever, he feels the urgency to understand their strange, unbroken bond. He watches closely as the falcon shifts its stance, allowing the kitten to snuggle more comfortably beneath its wing. The scene tugs at his heartstrings, making him wonder about the depths of their connection. He decides it's time to call in the experts, hoping for answers to this unexplainable situation. He quickly takes out his phone and calls a local wildlife rescue organization for advice. Explaining the odd pair in his yard, an injured kitten and a protective falcon, the rescue team sounds intrigued. They promise to send someone out to assess the situation as soon as possible. The protagonist feels a mix of hope and anticipation. The wildlife rescue team is fascinated by the strange pair. They ask him several questions about the animal's behavior and condition, trying to piece together the curious puzzle. They warn him that approaching the falcon too soon could be dangerous. Its protective instincts are in overdrive, and any sudden movement might trigger an aggressive reaction. The expert's cautionary words play on his mind, reinforcing the delicate balance he must maintain until help arrives. As he waits for the wildlife expert to arrive, the protagonist keeps a close eye on the animals. The falcon keeps its vigilant watch, not letting down its guard for a moment. The falcon allows the kitten to stretch out, its tiny paws barely moving as it lets out a weak meow. This small, feeble sound highlights the kitten's fragile state. The falcon's sharp eyes never waver, scanning the yard meticulously for any threats. The protagonist feels a pang of helplessness, knowing the kitten urgently needs care. When the expert finally arrives, they approach with caution, amazed by what they see. The sight of a wild falcon protectively standing over an injured kitten leaves them speechless. "I've never seen anything like it," they whisper, their eyes wide with astonishment. The protagonist steps aside, letting the expert take the lead. "It's rare," the expert says quietly, "but sometimes animals form unexpected bonds in the wild, especially in times of distress." They explain that the falcon might have found the kitten injured and decided to protect it, though it's unclear why the bird hasn't left it yet. Sometimes instincts kick in, even if it goes against their nature, the expert continues. The protagonist nods, realizing that both creatures are playing out their parts in an extraordinary drama. The wildlife expert carefully sets down a trap designed to capture the falcon without harming it. The trap is placed a few feet away from the pair, its design meant to be non-invasive. The falcon senses the movement and spreads its wings again, its body tense. The shift in its posture is immediate and protective. The kitten remains huddled close to the falcon, ignorant of the unfolding situation. The falcon's defensive reaction underlines the urgency and delicacy of their actions. With a soft, soothing voice, they say, "It's natural for the falcon to react this way. Its protective instincts are in overdrive." The protagonist listens intently, finding comfort in the expert's steady demeanor. But if they don't intervene, the kitten might not survive. The expert looks at the protagonist seriously. "We need to act quickly," they say, glancing at the trembling kitten. The protagonist's heart aches at the sight, feeling a surge of protectiveness. "This little one has been through a lot," the expert murmurs, their focus fixed on the kitten's leg. They begin to gently examine the extent of the injuries. The expert examines it carefully. "We need to get this leg fixed right away." Every second feels crucial as they handle the kitten with care. The falcon watches from the trap, restless but not aggressive. Its eyes dart between the kitten and the humans, conveying a sense of anxiety. The expert gently cradles the kitten, preparing for the next steps. "Incredible how it stayed so calm," he says softly. The expert nods. "Yes, it's highly unusual." The falcon, now visibly anxious, paces within the enclosure, eyes locked onto the kitten. The protagonist and the expert take the kitten inside to treat its wounds, sharing unspoken concern. "Careful, it's been through a lot." Carefully, they lay the kitten on a soft towel, readying the necessary items to treat its leg. The process is methodical, each step carried out with calm precision. As they do, the falcon becomes increasingly agitated in the trap, screeching loudly. Its cries pierce the air, full of distress and urgency. "We need to hurry," the expert notes, acknowledging the falcon's restlessness. The expert works swiftly, applying a disinfectant and wrapping a clean bandage around the kitten's injured leg. The protagonist stands by, worried eyes shifting between the falcon and the kitten. After bandaging the kitten's leg, "We'll need to release the falcon soon," the expert advises, sounding both practical and compassionate. This bird and kitten share an unusual bond, but their immediate safety takes precedence. There's a moment of silence, both reflecting on what must be done next. "We have to do what's best for them both," the expert continues. The protagonist is torn, part of them wanting to maintain the bond, yet knowing separation is inevitable. The protagonist watches the kitten settle into a soft bed, feeling a pang of sympathy for both animals. The expert prepares to release the falcon back into the wild. They carefully open the trap, making sure not to startle the bird. The protagonist watches closely, feeling a mix of hope and sadness. Its sharp eyes scan the surroundings, and its wings stretch slightly in preparation. The falcon pauses, its gaze sweeping the yard as if searching for the kitten one last time. Then, with a powerful beat of its wings, the bird takes flight, soaring into the sky and disappearing beyond the treetops. The protagonist stands watching, feeling a sense of loss mingled with relief that the bird is free. The protagonist watches the falcon until it's out of sight, feeling an unexpected sense of loss. The bond that had formed in his yard between the fierce bird and the tiny kitten was something rare and extraordinary. He sighs, turning back toward the house. Inside, the kitten's soft mews draw his focus, pulling him away from his thoughts about the falcon's departure. Inside, the kitten begins to recover, growing stronger with each passing day. Its injured leg starts to heal, and its movements become more energetic. Still, the memory of the falcon lingers in the protagonist's mind. The image of the falcon's protective stance, wings spread in a guardian-like manner, refuses to fade. As the days pass, the kitten grows stronger, but the protagonist can't stop thinking about the falcon. He keeps wondering how the bird is faring back in the wild. Was the falcon adapting well? Did it feel the loss of the kitten as acutely as he did? The wildlife expert calls to check in, offering updates and advice. We haven't seen the bird since its release, they mention. The protagonist listens carefully, asking questions about the falcon's behavior and well-being. He finds some comfort in the expert's knowledge, but still feels a lingering concern. It's likely adapting back to its natural habits, the expert assures him, trying to ease his worries. One evening, as he's sitting in his yard, he hears a familiar piercing screech. His heart jumps, and he looks up quickly, scanning the sky. There, catching a glimpse of the falcon's silhouette, he watches it circle high above the yard. It doesn't come down, but its presence feels deliberate, almost like a silent message. The bond between the animals may have been broken, but the falcon hasn't forgotten. Is it looking for the kitten? Looking up, he catches a glimpse of the falcon, circling high above the yard. The bird of prey, with its dark, sharp feathers and intense gaze, moves gracefully in the sky. Its wings spread wide, casting a formidable shadow on the ground below. The sight stirs a mix of emotions within him, bringing back memories of the bond he had witnessed between the falcon and the kitten. It felt poignant, almost as if the bird was making its presence known. Though the falcon never returns to the yard, it is spotted occasionally, always circling above the house or nearby. These moments become a familiar routine, a small yet significant part of the protagonist's life. The protagonist often finds himself looking up, searching for that distinctive silhouette against the sky. The kitten, now fully recovered, thrives in its new home. Yet every now and then, it gazes out the window as if searching for something. The protagonist realizes that while he has given the kitten a safe home, the bond it shared with the falcon was something unique. The relationship between the fierce bird of prey and the fragile kitten defied logic, but showcased the beautiful unpredictability of nature. It's a memory he cherishes deeply. Both animals are back where they belong, but their brief, unexpected partnership will always be a part of them. The falcon returns to the wild, reclaiming its freedom, while the kitten enjoys the comfort of a loving home. The falcon protected the kitten from predators, likely out of an instinct to guard vulnerable creatures. Its actions went beyond mere survival, showcasing a deeper level of care and protection. While most birds of prey wouldn't hesitate to hunt a small animal like a kitten, this falcon saw something different. This partnership, born out of necessity, was instrumental in saving the kitten's life. The protagonist reflects on how nature's unpredictable interactions can lead to remarkable outcomes. The falcon's unexpected guardianship ensured that the kitten lived to see another day, highlighting the extraordinary resilience and adaptability of life.